Saul, hey, congratulations on your short film, Enjoy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks for chatting with me.
Hey, not a problem, not a problem. I think more importantly, congratulations that it's being showcased at Tribeca. How does that feel for you?
Yeah, I mean it's great. I mean it's always been said to kind of people. It's just nice when your film gets selected to a festival like that. It's just kind of almost like a bit of a legit bit of legitimacy, but it's also just nice that more people outside of kind of your small group of friends and family are going to see it. It means a festival like that is going to bring in such a varied and wide audience. So knowing that people from around the world will be seeing the film is a really nice feeling.
That's excellent. So, what brought you on board onto a short film like Enjoy? How did this actually happen for you?
Well, it was all came from the writer, my friend Callum Cameron, who I've been friends with for a number of years now, but we haven't actually worked together on anything. He's been writing in the theatre, while I've been kind of producing and directing commercials and some short form stuff as well. But a couple of years ago, he came to me with this script. It was based on his own experiences um, as a home tutor, and I just thought it was great. I really connected to it. So we kind of developed it over a couple of years, and then in kind of early last year, we finally got to the point where we kind of were ready to shoot it. So kind of sent it out to people and got going with it. So yeah, it was a really nice project to kind of work together with a friend, and especially on something we both found very personal to both of us.
How did you want to carefully navigate? Because usually, there's a lot of films that navigate the issue of depression. How did you want to approach this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. I mean, I think for one, we wanted to tell something tell a story that was honest to us, and our experience of mental health. I feel like a lot of the time when that subject matter is kind of addressed in films, especially with regards to men, it kind of comes they kind of talk about it in a sense of a crisis of masculinity or kind of toxic masculinity. But what we found interesting was telling a story of a character like Michael, who essentially is someone who probably quite like able to understand his thoughts in some ways, but he's just still not able to talk about it. He's not necessarily like a macho man and trying to prove his manliness in any way, and that's why he's not talking. It's just inbuilt in him that he, as a male, that he can't communicate and he can't understand the feelings he's going through, so he's boxed in. And I think that happens very often with men. I mean, there's been lots of amazing work and conversations starting over the last few years about mental health, and particularly in the pandemic as well, and also talking about men's mental health, both, which have been really, really positive. And I think that a lot of them are kind of talking about past experiences, but there still is a difficulty in opening up in the moment, and that's something we wanted to try and to capture in this short amount of time with Michael and Archie.
That is your actually great. But let me talk about your cast members. First of all, Himesh, he's terrific in this film. I mean, I loved him in his previous films like Yesterday, which he's also terrific. Talk about him, why he's perfect, and how do you manage to convince him to board this project?
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. He's such a fantastic actor. He's so talented. I've actually known him for a number of years. He's been friends with my girlfriend, who Maddie Hill, who is also in the film. And we've been friends for a while, since they were on a TV show together here in the UK, and but never actually worked together. And then, as we were kind of writing the script with Callum and developing it, he just kind of came to both of our minds almost separately. And then I think one day we were just like talking about who we thought would be great for it, and we were just like, oh, Himesh would be great. So we sent it to him, and he loved it, and luckily kind of it worked in his very busy schedule. But yeah, he's just so great to work with. It's such a difficult role in many ways, just because it doesn't have a lot of dialogue, and there's comedic elements, and there's also dramatic elements, but it's all kind of subtle and it's all in between the lines. So he's so good at that, and to kind of achieve that in such a short space of time and create a believable character in such a short space of time, was just so good and so amazing.
Now there's a short freestyle, spoken word scene that he actually did. Was that part of the script, or you actually had him like actually freestyle for the film?
No, that was Callum. Callum wrote that. That is, it comes from kind of our almost confusion out of some spoken word. I think spoken word is a really interesting medium, but I think within it, like all artistic mediums, there's a lot of things to play with and a lot of hilarity in there. And so Callum wrote that, and to be honest, I was like a little bit worried about it, what it would come across, because I really didn't want it to come across like he was like a rapper, because I think that kind of thing has just been done. But Himesh just absolutely nailed that. I think it was a really fun. I think we did more takes than we needed to on that, just because we enjoyed watching it so much and experimenting and doing it in different ways.
Now you mentioned that you brought in Maddie Hill, which happens to be your girlfriend. Obviously, in short films, everyone likes to keep production very close to themselves. What was it like bringing her on and then directing your own girlfriend in a film like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite meta in a way. I mean, there were elements to some of the storyline aspects that were like personal to me and therefore kind of personal to her as well. But what was great about it was she was kind of involved in a lot of the early development process of the script. So it was great kind of running things past her. And what's so difficult in short films is when you have relationships, and especially relationships, whether they're romantic or familial or friendships that have meant to have lasted a long time, and we're getting a snapshot of them. It's so key that the dynamic is right, because often you're only getting like 1-2 scenes and you've got to set up this whole thing for the audience to believe in. And because of the dynamic they have, and I like to think because obviously you knew me and Callum, we were able to have like rehearsal periods and stuff as well, which is like unheard of in shorts. And it just helped us so much, because it means that they're just a believable couple. So much, you kind of watch short films and you kind of can tell that they've just been brought in that day and they've had to kind of make out like they've known each other for 10 years. It's difficult.
Great. And obviously your last primary cast member was the boy, which the name escapes me right now, but he was actually very good. A lot of directors don't like to work with children, but
yeah, Tom Sweet. I mean, he's almost like not a child actor. But I worked with a great casting director, Heather Baston, who I work with a lot, and she we had a couple of casting sessions, and as you can imagine, it was really difficult to cast Archie, just because he had to be kind of pretty horrible and annoying in the first half of the movie, and then later on, without kind of spoiling too much, you then really have to feel for him. And I found that most kids could either do one or the other. Like some kids came in and they were so cute, and I really they made me cry when they opened up to Himesh. But when being annoying, I just didn't believe that they were enough of a bastard. But Tom could just do both, and he's had some experience in films before, so it didn't really faze him. And what impressed me so much was that he was able to take on direction so well, but also, which normally sometimes adult actors struggle with, is just being present and listening in a scene. So sometimes Himesh would not necessarily always change lines, but kind of change tact a little bit, just deliver something a bit differently. And Tom always just reacted in the moment, which is just it sounds so easy, but it's such an important thing in scenes like that, in all scenes. Because then you just feel like actors are communicating, characters are communicating with each other.
And how fun was it to have him recite these lines from a Marvel from Marvel movies.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, Callum had I think that's an actual technique that Callum has used with some of his pupils before, which has worked well. And yeah, it was very fun, and Tom was great at doing it as well. He really got into it.
That is terrific. Well, let me start wrapping things up with you, Saul. So what's next for you after Tribeca?
We've got a couple of projects. We've got feature projects that we're working on at the moment, that we're just sending out to people, and then another short film which I'd like to do within the next year as well. So there's a couple of things, but at the moment it's just kind of enjoying this. I mean, it's not every day your film gets into a festival like Tribeca or Palm Springs even. And I've fully been on the other side before, when you put everything into a film and it doesn't quite get the traction you want, and it doesn't really kind of go outside your bubble. And so I'm really kind of enjoying this feeling, and getting emails from people from different countries in the world just saying they like the film. It's so nice to be a part of that.
I think that's great. Getting into Tribeca is a great opportunity. So, Saul, hey, thank you for carrying this talk with us. It's quite enjoyable film, and I recommend everyone to watch your short film. Enjoy.
Thanks so much for your time.